Hello, this is Mark. Mark with a capital R. Don't ask why. He's 3 years old, living in the town of Tokyo. So, Mark is just living a normal life, right? Until he finds two chemicals in the cabinet underneath the sink. And when he mixes them, he makes a chemical reaction, and the area becomes colder, and he freezes. Now, Mark is just 3, but he figures out that he is destined to become a great scientist, once he unfreezes. And eventually, years pass, and Mark turns 18 and becomes a man. And he's realized he's explored the whole village. He's visited the flower shop. He's been to the bakery. He has been to the gladiators arena and the statue and the fountain. And he has decided to leave life in Tokyo and pursue a career in science. Oh, and he also becomes a refugee because the village is getting attacked by an army. So because of this fight, Mark becomes a refugee and flees Tokyo for a better life. And he flees Tokyo with the help of his friend Uho Gale. And he ends up in Moscow, the capital of his kingdom. And Mark decides that maybe life in... Oh, he's getting attacked. He gets attacked in the streets. And Mark dies. Mark gets killed by the people in Moscow as they mistook him for someone in a different kingdom. Oh, and so did Uho Gale. They both died. Unfortunately, Mark drank some chemicals when he was like a scientist when he was a kid. And he exploded because, yeah, that's what happens when you drink chemicals and get killed, right? But back in Tokyo, you have Mark 2.0, who is 19 years old, who is also a scientist that made their house cold when they were a baby. Hold on. There we go. They made their house. So then they decide, I can do so much better than this village of Tokyo that got taken over. So, Mark sails, and he stops at a little bridge. And then this guy named Ellie, he's like, who are you? Why are you here? And Mark tells him, I'm trying to be a scientist. And I'm exploring the world in search of a place to carry out experiments. And then Ellie's like, why? And then he says, because. And then starts sailing again. But then Ellie's like, wait a minute. I want to join you. So Ellie also starts sailing with Mark. And they sail together and become good friends. After a lot of sailing, they end up in the island of Lemon City, which is a small island on a lemon biome named Lemon City. And then they decide to become citizens of Lemon City, and they all kill a lemon. 'Cause why not? Mark 2 turns 20, and then to celebrate, he buys out this house and makes it his research facility. Now, for one of his experiments, he was experimenting with water. And then he tapped into the ground and discovered that there was a spring. And the spring sprouted, showering Lemon City with cool, refreshing water. And Mark asks one of the locals, do you have any interesting food here? And then they say, Yes, we eat lemons. And then this lemon person over here is Lele, and he gets mad because he knows that they're gonna eat his brethren, and then he attacks people. And then as response, Mark 2.0 gets mad, and he captures one of the lemon folk, and he brings him to his lab. Oh, that's a little too much. And he brings him to the lab for experiments. And after experimenting on the lemon person, he feeds the lemon beef, and the lemon turns into a cow. But this cow isn't any ordinary cow. This cow has a prion from the lemon that made him infected. And then slowly but surely, the other lemon folk become zombie cows too. And unfortunately, sensing his mistake, Mark is like, oh no, something's about to break down in Lemon City. But I love this village. So he decides, with the help of Ellie, to deport the cows and some lemons who may potentially become zombies to the mainland. And he thinks that will protect his village. But he doesn't know the problem he just started. So anyways, Lemon City continues to prosper until suddenly there was a cow that did not get deported, and it turns into a zombie cow, and a zombie infection starts on the island, including a mushroom infection also on the island from when he fed someone too many mushrooms. So Mark grabs Ellie, and they both flee Lemon City, and they travel to the village of Robgo, which is nearby. And then they join the village. Meanwhile, Lemon City is in terror as more people become mushrooms and zombies. Lemon City continues to have people turn into zombies and mushrooms as the population slowly dips from 44 to 32, 31, and then in a week, it is mostly just children left. And eventually, Lemon City's down to its last 9 people as the city runs to havoc. Now, back in Rubgo, Mark hears about this news, and he sees on the news that he has become a wanted man, as he has resulted in the deaths of 44 people on the island of Lemon City. So, in order for him to not be caught by the fugitives, he changed his name from Mark with a capital R 2.0 to Mark with a capital M 2.0. And suddenly people don't know who he is. And then Ellie also becomes a suspect in the crime. So Ellie changes her name to Eliana, and then no one suspects them in Robgo. Now by this point, the village of Lemon City has been destroyed, and all that's left of it is a few mushroom people destroying a boat and the geyser that Mark had left on the island. Mark, feeling guilty for what he's done, has suspected that the people of his island are starting to suspect what he's done, and they also figure out Ellie. So, once he finally confesses to what he has done to the people of Lemon City, Afulechi says that their grandma was on the island, and then people break out into an all-out revolt, and because of the atrocities that Mark has committed, they kill Mark 2.0, and then when they find out that Eliana is an acquaintance, so they deport her back to Cuba, which is where her and Mark met, and some fighting takes place because it's Cuba, you know, fighting's gonna happen. And that is the story of how Mark destroyed Lemon City and how there's a couple mushroom people living on Lemon City now, fighting rats. And that is all. As the thing ends. Yeah.